Okay, there we go. Hello, everyone, my 9 loyal subscribers. I appreciate you. Thank you for your continued commentary, uh, especially Mr. Lamp. I appreciate you following the series and taking a genuine interest, and that I like reaching out to people like that. And if you ever have any fitness-related questions, I'm your guy. Or honestly, car-related questions. I'm really good at those too. So, moving on. You might be wondering why I didn't post anything for the last 2 or 3 days. And the reason for that is it's a couple fold. The last workout that I filmed, I think, was Friday. And I did post that on Friday, right? I did lift the following day on Saturday, but I was at a different gym. I was with my brother. It was a bit of a hassle, and I just didn't feel like setting up and doing all the jazz. I did get a good lift in. It was chest and back, and I got it done in like 45 minutes. But it just wasn't, I just didn't want to film. I didn't have like an intro like this, which is a big part of the process for me. So it just didn't end up happening. And I apologize if you were really looking forward to that Saturday update. And then yesterday, I took a rest day and I didn't hit cardio. I just took a full rest day and didn't do much of anything. So that's the other reason there. Now then, as to everything else, today, actually over the weekend, I'll give you a little bit of a personal update. Over the weekend, I had a really very productive weekend, in fact. Like, Friday, I completely finished out my MBA, so I think I might have already said that, but ba-da-da, look at me. I have a master's degree, an advanced studies graduate level degree. Very cool. Don't know what I'm going to do with it, but hey, whatever. Secondly, I got a lot done. Like Friday, I think I went to the store, I got my steps in, I did cardio, I got up super early. My lovely fiance got me up. I asked her to. I'm not being ironic. I mean, she is actually very lovely. And I asked her to get me up just because I'm trying to fix my sleep hygiene a little bit. And I got up and I felt great. And I weighed in and I took my pills and, your morning routine. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm up. Let's do some cardio. And so I did. And I did like an hour almost. And I burned like 450 calories. And that was awesome. And then I was like, you know what? I still got time. So then I went to work, of course. I think I already gave all this update on Friday. So maybe I'll just skip it. Anyway, I got a lot done. And then at the end of the day, I drove to my brother's house after my workout, after I filmed all that. And I checked my Fitbit, and I did something like 19,000 steps, which is give or take like 10 miles plus. I'm like, holy crap. And then Saturday, we hit a lift in the morning, not like super early, but like fairly early, like 9:30, 8:30. And because we went to bed at like midnight or whatever, so like it worked out. And hit the lift, and then so I got that in, even though it was like, that was like 9 days in a row of working out or whatever it was. I felt great. And then I got showered and got ready. We went to a concert in Milwaukee, a music festival, the Harley Davidson Festival. And the music was great. The events were cool. The booths were fun. But the people were kind of rude. I never thought I would see the day when I'm like, yeah, Chicagoans and people from like Columbus, Ohio are so much nicer than people from Wisconsin. Because the stereotype, and this might just be Milwaukee, if you're from Wisconsin, you've been to the area, you might be able to confirm or deny these rumors, but the whole Midwestern, niceness and like the typical, oh, how you doing, bud? All that you get out there just really wasn't present. People were kind of just rude. And the other thing is, it was a music festival, so there's no saying that these people in Milwaukee were from Milwaukee, to be fair. They could have come from all over. But it kind of tarnished my overall impression of the people in that city. The city itself is nice. It's actually quite pretty. There's a church on like every other corner, like a giant Gothic or Art Deco church, and I thought that was cool. I like architecture as well. And the buildings were cool. There's a lot of limestone, a lot of brick. So it was a neat looking place, but man, I just didn't get along with the locals, if they were in fact local. That's another thing I didn't consider. Maybe they weren't actually from Milwaukee. Maybe they weren't even from Scotty. Maybe they were like came in from New York or something, or Boston, where people are renowned to be jerks. But I don't know. Anyway, but I had a good time. We saw some country music artists, Sierra Farrell and 49 Winchester, Drop Tines, and for us, the main reason we had was the co-headliner, one of the co-headliners, as it were, which was Turnpike Troubadours, which is probably the quintessential red dirt country band and one of my favorite country music artists out there ever, as well as just today. But overall, it was a good time, and then I got another like 12,000 steps in that day. And then yesterday, I came home. I saw my whole family minus my sister because she's off doing college doctoring stuff or whatever she's doing. And came home, chilled out, got some more steps, and only like 8,000, which is still significant. And then watched Anyone But You, which is a modern interpretation of Much Ado About Nothing, which is my favorite Shakespeare movie. The original one from the 80s with Kenneth Branagh is really, really, really good if you're into Art Nouveau theater or traditionalist Shakespeare productions. It was very good. I missed my turn again. I'm yapping too much. But really, not that good of a movie. It was fun. It was funny. There were multiple scenes where I caught myself like laughing out loud, like, wow, that was really funny. But overall, kind of not that great. Say what you will about Sydney Sweeney and her talents and whatnot. She's not the most great actor, but I liked the movie. I would watch it again at some point if I need a laugh. And then, but all in all, I think just over the weekend, I did something like almost 30,000 steps or 40,000 steps. I walked basically 20 some miles, basically I walked a marathon, but it was all said and done. It was a lot of steps, and my feet are feeling it. In fact, they're a little tender today, and that's another thing that people don't talk about in bodybuilding is like I'm very flat-footed. I have like no arch whatsoever, so that's whatever. That's what it is. But due to that, the pressure when I walk is not necessarily on the balls of my feet. It's a lot more on my toes. And so I get ingrown toenails really bad. Might be TMI. But when I'm standing for a long time or when I'm walking for a long time. And so that sucks. And then my feet just get sore and it sucks. But, that's the way she goes. But anyway, back to present day. Today is thankfully not leg day. I don't think I have to do that for another 2 days here. Today is shoulders. And I was like kind of dreading leg day. I'd be able to do it, but my legs are sore. still, and then like the massive amount of walking that I did kind of made them a little more sore, or whatever whatever you want to use for lingo there. So I'm kind of glad it isn't legs. It is shoulders though, and I like shoulders, and I think it should be a quick, easy, and fun workout. And I do have a strawberry monster today, which we are excited to try. I did learn that there's additional kinds of monster. In my fridge at home right now, I have a peach and a white. The white, of course, is superior, but we're going to judge. And then, if you live in the Midwest, Kroger-type chain stores, anything under the Kroger umbrella, they're releasing what was, I assume, to be a very popular flavor back in the day, but they're releasing Zero Ultra Black, and I don't know what flavor that's based off of or what it's supposed to be, but I'm going to try that one when it comes out. And then I guess there's also a zero version of the original Monster flavor, which I will try, even though I really don't like the original Monster flavor. I will try it just to say that I tried it, though. And then there's a couple other ones that I haven't tried yet, like the guava one, or there's that like green and pink can, and whatever flavor it is just doesn't sound good, but I'll drink it at some point just to say I did. But anyway, I didn't ever used to like energy drinks, but I still don't like a lot of them. But like the best energy drink there is, period, is the Ghost Orange Cream. I don't know what they put in that stuff, but man, is it good. It is delicious. I mean, like, the front is this, like, powerful orange punchy flavor, and then on the back of it, the aftertaste, you get that, it's just a hint of cream. Not, like, in your face, very strong, like vanilla frosting, but just enough to make it lovely. And I really like that orange Ghost. Yeah, shoulders. So we're going to have some shoulder press, dumbbells. I can do barbell or Smith. But dumbbells, I think, is probably the most effective just because of the range of motion and the path of motion. With like military and barbell, you're coming down in front of your chin, which is going to, not necessarily activate the delts as much. You're starting to look at a little bit of like lat work and other things. Whereas with dumbbell, you can come down to the side or like slightly pitched in front, and that's going to keep the tension on your delts the entire time, and I appreciate that. Hit some upright rows, which a lot of influencers and online people and just random gym people or lifters say, oh, it's bad for your shoulders. Oh, this is bad for your elbows. It's not good on your joints. Oh, the wrist damage. And to which I disagree. I think if you're doing it wrong, like if you get a real narrow grip and you're coming up, yeah, it's not gonna feel good because you're doing it wrong. But you get like shoulder width or slightly wider than shoulder width, and you come out in front of you. It's a front raise. The trap activation, the delt activation, I gotta be honest, like it's a pretty killer exercise. Gives me a heck of a pump at least. So I disagree with the naysayers on that one. And then your other standards, lateral raises, rear delts, which I'm gonna have to do on the the free form, whatever that cable machine thing is. Interesting. Because there's not like a true pec deck here, which is really one of like 2 or 3 shortcomings of this gym. There's not many, but that's a significant one. So I'll do that, and then I think that's like about all there is. I don't recall, but we'll get there when we get there, and you'll see. And you might remember better than I do at this point if you've been following the channel, because these workouts have not changed really since I started doing them. In terms of posing, I am. I figured out what I want to do for side tricep. I figured out the stance, and now it's just kind of reforming it. I have to do it with this arm. I don't know which tricep is stronger, frankly, but I have to do it with this arm because my left arm does not cooperate. I've got like tendon or nerve anger. Like I've got essentially tennis elbow in my left elbow, and if I try to like strain it or like flex it in that position, it's just very painful, and I can't really straighten my arm out all the way, so it doesn't look like a good pose. But what I'm trying to emulate is that Dorian Yates side tricep. I mean, just the most powerful side tricep that I can think of, where he kind of gets one foot in front of the other and just hits that perfect diamond form, that X frame. Very, very, very powerful pose. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. And I still do not have danged quarter turns locked down. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I kind of need someone there in person to grab me and move me around and say, this is what it's supposed to look, this is what you need to do, and unfortunately my coach is remote. Very good coach, I would say. Team Biff, at Team Biff coaching on Instagram and YouTube and stuff, but very good coach, but he's just not in here, like in person, and that makes it a little bit difficult. So I might try to set up like a live stream or a FaceTime or something with him to iron those problems out. Yeah, and then I think every other pose I'm pretty much getting fairly well locked in on. I got my lat spreads a little bit better. My front and rear doubles have always been fairly strong. I'm working my 3/4 back, which is going to be my classic pose, and then my most muscular is coming along as well. I just need to iron out a few kinks, but for everything except the quarter turns, I'm in a good spot right now. Now, in terms of other metrics for the competition, body weight is sort of stagnant. I was like 204 this morning, but I think a large portion of that can be backed up to the fact that I was traveling so much, and you can do the math there. But I feel great. I look pretty darn good. I'm not like stage ready by no means, but like it's not bad. So, but I am worried that I'm reaching that like 200-pound threshold, just brushing it, and I haven't gotten underneath it yet. I got to 200.0 one day, and that was as close as we've gotten to breaking underneath that 200 landmark. And that's the way it is. And I'm compensating for that with my cardio. My diet is largely remained unchanged, but my cardio, my NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is essentially your step count. If you choose some gum, you twiddle your fingers, any sort of motion requires energy, so your NEAT will be affected by motion. So anything you can do physically, like even just waving your hand around or nodding your head or singing along to music, it adds up. It's very, very small, and like in terms of like a singular event or a singular day, it's going to be utterly negligible, but over time it adds up. Like your knee. The difference between walking 2,000 steps in one day and 10,000 steps in one day, essentially, now this isn't like a catch-all, but for the average male, your average like 160-pound, 5'10" male, walking or running a mile on level ground is give or take 100 calories, give or take. And so if you're heavier, height notwithstanding, but if you're heavier, like if you're 200 pounds, it's going to be more. If you're 100 pounds, it's going to be less. But a fair metric for me is like 1 mile is about 140 calories, 130. So, and about 2,000 steps for me is about a mile. So the point is, the difference between 2,000 steps and 10,000 steps is like 500 or 600 calories. So that's significant, right? But anyway, here we are at the gym. I'll go get warmed up and then we'll get it rolling. Okay, so dumbbell shoulder press. I'd like to do 95s, but these weights go straight from 90 to 100. I could probably do 100, but I think it'd be messy and it'd be yucky. So we're gonna do 90s. We're gonna try to go for 2 sets of 8. Last time I got 7 and then 6. So if I can get 2 sets of 8, that'll be awesome. If I can get 1 set of 8, that would be awesome. Anyway, setup on this is always a bear, but sometimes it's just the way it is. I'm at a slight angle, but this bench doesn't go fully vertical. This is as high up as it goes. I could get a different bench, but it ain't gonna kill you. You're gonna get the shoulder activation either way. Alright. Woo! That felt pretty good. That felt pretty cool. All right. Take a minute, do another one. Here we go again. Yeah, my strength has actually been going up these last this last week or so, and it's like, well, my weight is kind of stagnated, unfortunately. The strength is going up, which hopefully means the size is going up too. Like I'd be fine with maintaining at this far out from the show, maintaining like that 200-ish body weight. Hopefully, I mean, you'd like to dip below, but like if I could do that, maintaining the same weight while rapidly cutting body fat, I mean, how cool would that be, you know? Like I'm probably rocking like right around 10% right now. I don't think we're at the single digits just yet, but I do feel fairly confident saying I'm around that 10% mark. Just by like the leanness, how grainy and dry the muscle is, like how much of my abdominals are present. So having trouble catching my breath, but you know what? Nobody got to first place by complaining, so except maybe soccer players. Anyway, that's it. Okay, it was close, but I didn't want to black out. Like, it would have been a gamble if I finished that rep. Because I felt like my vision starting to tunnel, and woo! Anyway. Feeling in the name 2 sets of 12 upright rows. I jumped the weight up from 115 from last week to 120 because we seemed to get it last week without too much of an issue. So we're gonna try it again, and 2 sets of 12 here. Oh man, one more. All right, round 2. Feeling pretty good about this. Let's go. Might have gone a little wide. The last one's kind of a half rep, but we're going to count it. Alright, so we got lateral raises, and I'm going to do a little rear view here. This is for my sake as well, just so I can see if my form is actually acceptable. But I'm thinking 20 pounds and 2 sets of 12, and they got to be good, clean, pretty reps. So I fix my that. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, the burn on that is sudden and powerful. I'm going to review that footage and then get another set. Okay, so I don't think that was actually that bad. I did kind of lean back a little bit, but you know, I'm trying, because like I was doing a little bit of that, and I'm trying, you want to like, not so much roll your shoulders forward, but like try to minimize back involvement, and I'm getting there. Got another set here. Also have some yogurt on my t-shirt. Lovely. Oh, it's peach if you're curious. So I'll do the same weight. Will we get the same number of reps? I don't know, because this is one of those humbling exercises, you know? Doesn't matter how heavy or how light you go on lateral raises, they will eventually win. So, anyway. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. Well, you know, it happens. I was like 9, but I feel like my form, I can't even do no weight right now. My form, I think, is improving. On to the next zone. Alright, so we have face pulls, and I have pre-chalked my hands this time. We have 100 pounds. I used way too much chalk. We have 100 pounds on the bar, or on the stack. And I do quotations because I'm not entirely confident that this 100 is actually 100, because it's pretty darn heavy. So, anyway, 2 sets of 12, and let's kill it. Okay. That is not 100 pounds, dude. That is like easily 120. It's heavy. But I think I'll drop it for the next one. Whew. Alright. I actually lowered the weight to 80 here. 80, which is probably like 100. But I'm going to go for a better squeeze on this and try to correct my form a little bit instead of just wrenching it, swinging it a little bit around. So we're going to try this out. All right. Okay. Okay, so like regardless of the weight, that was just tough today. Felt good, but moving on. Alright, so we have our rope triceps, which, as you know, the goal of the rope is to split when you come to the bottom. So we aren't going to go crazy heavy, especially not for a set of 15. So we got 80 pounds on here, similar to the last time I did this. And let's kill it. Triceps feel like frickin' Superman today. This should not be a challenge. That was the easiest 80 of my life. I might not get a full 15 if I jump the weight up. I'm gonna jump the weight up anyway because that was a treat. Alright, so I jumped the weight 10 pounds. I'm not trying to like ego lift here, but like jump the weight 10 pounds. I just thought of something. I'm doing essentially the same weight on triceps as I am on the face pulls, so it tells you a little bit about muscle imbalance. There you go. But like, I'm not a paleontologist or biologist or whatever, but I feel like in nature, really the only use for your rear delts like that would be like drawing a bow, or like
rowing a boat. I think that's like why that characteristic evolved. I couldn't tell you. But it's just such a underutilized muscle, you know? So, but anyway, my triceps are significantly stronger than my rear delts, I guess, is the moral of the story. Here's another set of 15. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Squeeze. Squeeze. Getting a little ugly. Okay. Well, we had it pretty killer until the last 3 there, but I mean, it's not an arm day. This is really just kind of a burnout type thing. Hitting a good pump, but rear delt thingies next. Let's do it. And we're going to play a musical camera here again because, well, you know how it is. We're good. She didn't die. Alright, so 2 sets of 15 on both arms. Got 45 on the stack. Let's kill it. I said let's kill it. We are not killing that. That would be because it's set at 90 and I can't read. Now it's at 45. Let's try it again. Yeah, that's more like it. Free motion is the name of this machine. Couldn't remember that on the drive over. To the other side. Damn. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah. Let's do it again. Not too much of a rest period here, so. Well, not that I can't, I just didn't take one because I don't feel like it. So let's do it. Well, had some cool bicep veins coming out during that, but Not bad. It was kind of painful, but hey. People don't bodybuild because it's easy. I'll tell you that. I think you have to be some sort of mentally deranged to do this sport, frankly. You know, every bodybuilder's on the spectrum. There's something wrong with them. To some extent, you know. But, anyway. Woo! Sweet Moses. Uno mas, so T-post. I'll give you guys a little pump check. Alright, so last time, if you'll recall, I could only get like 7 out of these. And the last rep just rocked my ass every time. So we're going to see if that's still the case here. It's been about 30 seconds since you saw that last set. So, basically no rest period. So, but anyway, let's try it out for size. Don't pass out, come on. Well, that was ugly. But I'm pretty sure it counts, so. Alright. We're gonna run it again. Oh. Here we go. Well, there's 2 more. Our confidence interval is not high. Let's go again. Nope. All right, well. 7.5, and let's continue to be the bane of my existence. We'll get a quick little pump check in. Then I got somewhere to be. Alright, so. Let's see. Yeah, good, man. Let's fix the camera a little bit. Not too bad. Oh, that's sticky. I already did cardio today, so. see if I can jump this up a little bit. Focus on the upper body. Yeah, a little bit of, I got some residual tricep pump there, so. Not too bad. Don't need to be seeing all that. Oh, got some veins coming up. Some shoulder vascularity. Oh, not too bad. Oh yeah, pretty decent shoulder pump there. Definitely see some vascularity coming through. But yeah, not too bad. So, overall, pretty successful day. I have to go cover somebody else's shift. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow.